So I'm back after disappearing for a few months again, and this time I'm here to tell you that the GPDWinMax campaign is live, and I've made my purchase, and I'll be waiting for the device when it comes out in June. Sometime in June, I forgot when, but by then I'll have the device and I'll start making videos showing games and performance benchmarks and stuff like that, and I'll be making a review of my own as well. But I've also been watching the Fox's review, and I've quite a lot to say myself, but I'll save that for the review. And sorry for the lack of uploads recently, because I just have got stuff going on and I didn't feel like making videos at that time. But I'll try to get back into making more videos once I have the device. And if you have any games or stuff that you want me to show off, just leave a comment below and I'll try my best to show you the performance and tweaks to achieve 60 FPS and stuff like that, and emulators. So I'll be testing Yuzu, Switch emulator, Cemu, Wii U, a lot of that, and PS2 and PS3 and Xbox 360. So stuff that I'd consider unplayable on the GPD Win 2, I'll be testing all that on the WinMax. And I've been watching a lot of videos of the device as well from people who's got it early from the production units, like Taki Udon, which makes great videos showing emulations and like 3DS, PS2, and the Fox obviously. And yeah, I'm just letting you guys know that the campaign is now live and you guys can go get it if you guys so wish to, and there will be a link in the description. So sorry for the lack of uploads, and I'll try to get back into making more Android related videos as well. And since I've had the GPD Win 2 for quite a while now, I might as well give like my first impression of and what I feel about the WinMax without having the device yet. But I'll be going more in depth after I got the device, and I'm making a review of my own, getting into details and benchmarks and all. But seeing pictures of the device, what do I feel of it? And I've been watching the Fox and Taki Udon's review on the device, and there's something that I want to say that I can go over a few points right now. Alright, so the device. I've heard people comment or Reddit not liking the layout. Like at this point, that every time GPD comes up with a new device, there will be someone not liking the layout. Like, it took me some time to get used to the first GPD Win's layout, and same as Win 2, but it literally takes no time because I'm quite used to the layout on both of them now. And yes, the same applies to this device, the WinMax, that having the left analog on the outside and the right analog on the inside is quite weird. But I think that's not really a big deal for me. Like, I'm just so happy that GPD took the time, and I heard there was a suggestion from the Fox that to have the D-pad and the face button to be like clicky, like the PS Vita, instead of like soft, like what else is there, like a Wii U or PS3 style buttons, because a lot of people, including myself, have had problem with the Win 2 and Win 1 membrane on the face button, like the ABXY, that it start wearing off after like a period of use, and they ended up having to go online and get replacement for the membrane to replace it. And that's the reason why I didn't play too much games recently on my Win 2, is because my face button started wearing off, and I actually ended up having to map some of those buttons to like down here. So if I gotta do like some button mashing, so like doing lots of XXX and YYY and shit like that, I'll just map it to these keys and doing on the keyboard instead on my Win 2. And having these PS Vita style button, like these switches buttons, will be so much more durable, I hope. And the D-pad would be a lot better for like retro 2D style games as well, not just like switching inventory on like modern 3D games. But and the aspect ratio, the GPD Win Max is now not 16:9, it's 16:10, which I've heard on some Reddit posts that it scales better for older games, and I really don't really care, to be honest, because if you're paying this much for a device just to play those older games, you could just like save this money and get a GPD Win 1 instead, that plays all the classic games that you ever need to play. If you're paying this much to get a device like that, like you're expecting to play like more modern 3D games like PS4 or PS3 generation games. And what do I think of the size? I've seen the review, and to be fair, I don't really mind it. Instead of thinking it like 3DS replacement, I'm thinking it as more like a tablet, like an iPad mini, because this literally is the size of an iPad mini, just thicker and heavier and stuff. But I mean the dimensions and stuff is quite similar to a small size tablet, and I'm okay with that. But it won't be pocketable, and I think that's going to be a deal breaker for lots of people. But I don't pocket my GPD Win 2 anyway. I always put it in a back in my backpack, and I don't carry it around with me anyway. So this is not going to be a problem with me. And the resolution on the device is 1280 by 800, if I remember correctly. And I'm really happy that GPD went with that instead of like what some people are saying they should go with, like a 4K panel or like a 2K panel. Like, please, I'm so glad that GPD didn't do that. Like, first, it's safe on battery, and secondly, the lower the resolution you have, the more you can save those power and run games in a better frame rate. So, and having that high of a resolution anyway, you're not going to run games smooth anyway, so you're going to drop the resolution down to like 720p anyway. So what's the point of having that high of a resolution and then dropping it, which will look blurrier than running it in native resolution anyway. So I'm really glad that GPD went with 1280 by 800. And the keyboard, layout, which I think is okay, I guess. There's nothing special. It just feels like a GPD Pocket to me. The keyboard layout. One thing that bugs me slightly is how the number keys and the function keys are shifted by 1. So when you have 1 here, you get F2, 2, and you get 3, 3 you get F4, so on. Which is a bit strange, but I don't think that's really a big deal anyway. And other than that, I'm just looking forward to it. And what else are there? Okay, the triggers. Let's get better pictures of the back. Yeah, there we go. The triggers, they're now going with like a switch style triggers instead of like side by side like an 8-bit controller, which is really good. But I actually kind of miss having the L3 and R3 on the side as like an extra set of shoulder buttons instead of clicking. It's great, and I'm sure lots of people will prefer having the clickable button instead of having an extra set of shoulders. But I kind of wish GPD just kept both, so you get the option to choose between. And what's that? Oh, the SSD replacement. This time around, you're gonna have to unscrew the back, and you have to unscrew the fan inside to get into the SSD to replace it. Am I gonna do that? I'll see. 512 gig default is. It sounds like a lot, but it actually isn't. 128 gig wasn't a lot for the Win 2, but you have to take the performance of the device into consideration as well, because the Win 2 is a lot slower anyway, so you're going to be playing a lot of last gen game on the Win 2, and a lot of last gen game doesn't really go above 20 gig or 30 gig max. But with the Win Max, a lot of games that I'll be playing on it will be like current gen games, like PS4 generation games, and those games are massive in comparison. Like, I've seen people playing Forza Horizon on the Win Max, and like Forza Horizon 4 on PC is around 80 gig or almost 100, and having games in that size, 512 gig isn't going to be enough. So I'm still glad that they added a micro SD slot on the side. I'm glad they didn't remove it entirely, and I'm gonna be using it. But the speed to store your games, your current gen games on the SD card and loading it from there isn't gonna be fast enough anyways. You're gonna have to store all your games on the SSD instead of the micro SD card. So I might gonna just save the micro SD card just for like ROMs and emulation games instead of like full size PC games, which I have done with my Win 2 because I didn't upgrade my Win 2's SSD, and instead I just got a 400 gig micro SD and store all my games and ROMs on there. And one thing that I haven't heard a lot of people saying, a lot of reviews saying, is how the device, like how hot the device gets when you're using it on the table, like laying it down, because I can't do that on my Win 2. I have to like plop it up on a stand so the fan can breathe and it won't get too hot. If you're laying it down on the table, like sitting it down, the Win 2 gets really hot really quickly. Even if you're not playing much games, it just gets so loud that sometimes it turns off by itself. And those tiny little feet on the Win 2, they're useless. They don't help at all. And the WinMax seems like they have a better rubber feet on the bottom and a bigger heatsink and ventilation stuff. So I'm hoping this would lead to a better ventilation when sitting it down on the table. And I hope they learned something from the GPT Pocket and applying it in here as well. Other than that, the build quality is just so much better than Win 2. It's just I think it's all aluminum build, seeing it from here in the review and stuff, which I think is what they were trying to go with on the Win 2. But it was really weird having the Win 2's backplates. Like when the device launched, they were trying to really push for that, like the swappable backplate, but like I have not seen anyone who's got a customized backplate. So I'm really glad that they swapped it just for all metal back. It looks clean. And other than that, the trackpad is a nice addition. I mean, I saw the X input and the mouse mode switch on the left side of the device, like right here. So I don't know how much I'll be using the switch since we already got the touchpad here. And we got the touch screen as well, so there's a lot of way of navigating that mouse. So I like it. And I think, yep, they've definitely removed the rumbles, the vibrations of in the WinMax now, which I think they already have in the revisions of the Win 2 as well. I've got the day 1 edition, so I've got the motors in my Win 2, which a lot of people I heard actually like having that in there, but I always turn it off in my games because they're a bit too strong for me, and I just don't care about like vibrations. I'd rather save those for more batteries anyway. And yeah, it's just I'm looking forward to it. When I got it, I'll be making more videos, but well, yeah, I don't know how to end my videos, so bye.